Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm pleased to rise and second for Bill 202, the Affordable Housing Review Committee Act. I don't think there's any question that this is one of the paramount issues that Alberta faces today, not only because of the ongoing influx of new Canadians and new Albertans over many, many years, but also now the economic downturn that has threatened thousands of people in their stability and their homes. The Housing Review Committee Act proposes to create a mandate to prepare a report on accessibility and affordability and make recommendations to the Minister within 9 months. I guess part of the concern that those of us who have been around for a while and seen this story repeatedly unfold, and along with the government who was formerly in the opposition, harangued the last government. And to his credit, Ed Stelmach was a very staunch supporter of affordable housing and did a lot up until 4 years ago, and nothing much has happened since. So a lot of good investment, a lot of recognition that the corporate sector has to be there, federal and municipal governments have to be there. Municipal governments, of course, depend on what the provincial government is allowing and enabling them to do, not least recognizing some of the issues that the cities, the big cities, face disproportionate to the rest of the province. But I think rural areas and smaller urban communities have similar problems. I guess from the outside, it appears that we're delaying something that we have all kinds of research, all kinds of information for Alberta, and all kinds of recognition that what's really needed is action. One of the most creative options that I've seen is coming out of Vancouver, where they have a similar, very hot market, very expensive, and the nonprofit organizations have taken over both public land and public buildings that are not being maintained or developed because the government of the day doesn't have the money. But the nonprofit organizations can take the land, leverage it for loans, and leverage the properties that need massive amounts of refurbishment, and they can actually get on with the job. I don't think it should take 9 months. I don't think it should take a committee to decide what we need to do here. I think many of us are anxious to see action, not more talk and more research, when we already know so much about Alberta. Having said that, I hasten to add that there's no question that this is an important issue for this government to address, and if they don't feel confident in the research, if they don't feel confident in what we already know about this province and the economic uncertainties, or they don't have the will to borrow more money, then encourage municipal and even provincial buildings and lands to be transferred to those that can do it. There are tremendous examples across the country that we could learn from and that we could move on rather than delay for 9 months what is a critical need. And I share the member for Edmonton Centre's concerns that every day, or at least every week, I have one member of the public or a family contact me about getting help to get into some kind of affordable dwelling, or protect them in the dwelling they are because they're about to be evicted. They don't have the funding, or they've lost some income and they don't know where to go. There are 7 housing associations across the province that have been addressing this issue for the last 10 years. They have a plan in place, and somehow I think they're as puzzled as the rest that we haven't gotten on with some of the great planning and opportunities that have been presented to the various levels of government in Alberta. They know what needs to be done in conjunction with the what is it called in Calgary, the community or the housing board. They have made plans over the last decade. The Resolve campaign is a combination of 7 or 9 actually organizations that have got all kinds of great plans in place, ready to go, some of them shovel ready. We presented one of those to the minister last week, and it's Alberta Interagency Council on Homelessness. Yeah, that's the body that has been planning these developments across the province for years, and has many of them ready to go. I guess I am concerned that I understand that we're in a budgetary crunch, but there are options. You don't, if this government doesn't want to go into further debt to try and facilitate more of this, then ensure that we get on with the job by empowering municipalities and indeed transferring some of their own land and some of their own properties to the nonprofit organizations that have proven themselves. Groups like Trinity Foundation, Silvera, the Calgary Housing Corporation, comparable one up here in Edmonton. They simply need to be able to leverage money, leverage properties, and borrow themselves, and they can do it in some cases as efficiently or more efficiently than the government can. So I would encourage the government not to, if I were to make one amendment, I would say, if you're going to set up a committee, have them report in 3 months, not 9 months. Let's make sure we get on with the job and start solving some of the problems here. Thanks, Madam Speaker.